Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to our postgraduate panel as part of our postgraduate open day. My name's Dan Flatt and I am the head of UK student recruitment and widening access here at the university. We're delighted you could join us today. We hope you've enjoyed all the other sessions that have taken place over the course of the week. We do have one more session after this, but I will give you some more details about that a bit later on. What you are here for, though, of course, is to meet our wonderful University of Leicester students, and I've been delighted to be joined by three of them today. I'll let them introduce themselves and where they're from and what course they are, but I'll start with Olivia.
Hi, my name's Olivia. I'm from London and I'm studying crime, justice and psychology.
Thank you, Olivia. And we're also joined by Hang.
Hello everyone, I'm Hang. I come from Vietnam and my major is media and public relations.
And finally, we have Abby.
Hi, I'm Abby. I'm from Surrey and I'm studying international business.
Brilliant, thank you. So we do have a good hour here, so if you do have any questions, please do fire them our way. I'll be looking to see any of the questions that are coming in, so please do send them our way. But I suppose to kick us off, you are University of Leicester students. Can you all give us a feel for why you chose your course at the University of Leicester? Olivia, I'll come to you first of all.
I chose University of Leicester because I did my undergrad here and I was very focused on the support that I received in undergrad. A lot of the opportunities I was given, I achieved quite well because of the support and the opportunities I was given. And I think coming to do a postgrad, it gave me the opportunity to expand my knowledge and kind of learn more. So that's kind of why I chose Leicester.
Brilliant, thank you. And Hang, so you've come from probably the furthest in the room today. Can you tell us why you chose Leicester and also studying in the UK?
Well, as an international student, I choose the UK because obviously they have a good environment for study and especially there's a diversity of students come from a lot of countries where I can experience a lot of cultures, meet a lot of friends from a lot of countries. Furthermore, I choose Leicester because I felt Leicester was quite a good balance between study and good quality life, and cost of living is quite affordable in comparison with another big cities.
Brilliant, thank you. And finally, Abby, can you give us a bit of a background on your journey and why you chose to study at the University of Leicester?
So I did my undergrad at DMU and I really loved the city, but after looking at lots of graduate jobs and what was my next step after third year, just my CV wasn't boosted enough as I thought it could be. I started looking around mainly at DMU and at Leicester, but Leicester just seemed the better option to help gain another qualification and just push myself further beyond other people applying for the same jobs as me. Really liked the city, so I wanted to stay here, so chose Leicester.
So Abby, you chose to come from another university. Was the application process coming from another university, was it tricky? Was it what can you talk us through your process when you applied to the university?
The whole process in general was absolutely fine. It was really easy steps to follow. The one complication was something in my application got lost and I only found out a couple of weeks before the start date, but the applications team was really helpful, answering emails and phone calls and helping me out as quickly as I could. And it was just a really easy process to follow, even if a few mistakes did happen along the way.
Well, I'm glad you managed to get here. Okay, that's a really good thing. And Olivia, you were a student. You were an undergraduate at the University of Leicester.
I was.
So can you talk us a bit about your journey to staying at the university?
Part of the reason mostly was, like I was saying, about the support. Coming to Leicester from London, especially coming from a very diverse city, coming to another diverse city, I was very grateful for that and grateful for the opportunities that I was given. The support in particular going into postgrad, I was really supported by my lecturers in terms of encouraging me to do it as well, and kind of support systems at home that kind of encouraged me to kind of further my education, further my study, because I'm a big person, I like to learn, I like to know things, and kind of going further into that with a support system that I was already familiar with friends I was really familiar with staff I was already familiar with, was a big part of that. So kind of staying in Leicester was very natural for me. It was very a kind of an easy decision in that respect.
And Hang, you've, as we said, you've travelled across the world to get here. How was it coming to the UK for the first time, stepping foot in Leicester for the first time. How did you find that journey and that transition for the first time?
Well, before I came to Leicester, I quite felt nervous, like come to different countries and don't know anyone here, and I feel like, oh, maybe I get lost. But no, when I came to Leicester, I feel like it's a home and quite welcoming to anyone, especially for me, like have a lot of events, and they also have a global lounge where I can meet a lot of students from another countries. We can share our cultures with each other, and moreover, like they have a lot of events, and for the students like me, I feel like, oh, a lot of people welcome me here. I feel like it's really a home for me.
And Hang, you've actually made it your home as well. You've moved into the university accommodation.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a bit about your accommodation? Where do you stay? Where do you live in the university?
Well, at the beginning when I start applying to the University of Leicester, and the application team also had me to find out the accommodation, and I choose to live in university accommodation. First, it's really close to the campus, easy to go to study, and they also offer the free shuttle bus for students. And here also in the university accommodation, they have a lot of events for me besides of study. So after study, I can join in some events like a movie night, or they have a free meals every Monday. It's really amazing for students, and at that event, I can also hang out with a lot of students, stay in the same accommodation as me.
Well, that's great to hear that you are able to make a home away from home as well. And so, Olivia, and you don't live in the university accommodation. Do you live locally? Tell us a bit about how you get to university.
I'm currently commuting, so I commute from London. I'm doing a postgrad. The timetable is a little bit different from undergrad, so I'm in less time in terms of timetabled scheduled sessions in that way. So a lot of it is kind of learning from home, a lot of the research I do from home, so I can commute, which is really helpful for me because I can have a balance in terms of like my family life and my home life and my friends at home, as well as that balancing that with my friends in uni as well. So in my undergrad, I did stay in halls as well, which kind of similar experience to what you were saying there, in terms of the events and the opportunities and the kind of the fun things that they kind of put on as a university and the community that you kind of build in regards to that. But at the moment, I'm currently commuting, so yeah, it's not too far of a place from London. It's about an hour, just over an hour on the train, so it's pretty close to home as well.
Well, we've actually had a question about commuting. So someone has asked a question about they're perhaps choosing to live in Nottingham and travel to Leicester for their classes. Do you have any complications? Do you have any top tips for that commuting side of things? If you're not in Leicester on a day, do you have any top tips for this person?
I think it's funny enough, I would just say to maximise your sleep. Sometimes travelling can be a little bit tiring, but I think especially coming from London, which is a little bit further than Nottingham, I'm still able to do it, and I'm still able to kind of manage my studies, my social life as well as my home life. So it's definitely possible. It's not necessarily the easiest thing to do, rather than like staying in halls, for example, where you're like maybe a 10 or 15 minute walk away, but it's definitely easy enough to do, and I think it's one of those things that you kind of just get into the swing of it. It becomes kind of natural second nature.
Great, and I'm glad to hear you're juggling it well. And Abby, so you're not in university accommodation, you're not commuting. What are you living in Leicester? Are you?
Yes, so I'm living in Leicester with two of my friends that I made at DMU they're doing masters at DMU. So we pull together and we're renting a house near town. So we're halfway between the both. So it is slightly longer of a walk for me to get to the Brookfield campus where the business campus is, but it's a lovely walk, even if it's in the rain sometimes. But yeah, this term we've been switching between being on the business campus and being on main campus, so it's about 15-20 minute walk from both of them, so it's quite nice in the city.
I always found studying as an undergrad at the university, that is one of the really great things, that it is actually really quite close to get to things. Even if I lived in the city centre myself and I was walking to the campus, and it's only 15 minutes, like you say, Abby. So yeah, a really good thing to do. So aside from your studies, as a postgraduate, you are, of course, free to still get involved with extracurricular activities and things outside of your studies. And I know that you all do different things, and Hang, you've alluded to some of the things you do as part of your accommodation. But Abby, perhaps can you talk a bit about some of the things that you do outside of your studies?
So I am involved in sports quite a bit. I'm president of one of the sports societies this year. So doing lots of like training sessions and just like social activities with my team that doesn't necessarily include sport. So we do go into the city quite a lot to go bowling and do stuff like that. And that's not just with the society, that's with like friends as well. Yeah, just really using what we've got here with the city being so close. Even if you just like a wander around the shops, you know, getting out for a morning, and now the weather's getting nicer, going to Vicky Park and just enjoying the sun, enjoying time with your friends but not studying.
And I suppose joining the sports team, you've now joined the winning side in varsity. Yep. when we played the other university, when we played De Montfort University in the sports as well. Olivia, can you talk a bit about what you do outside of your studies?
Outside of my studies, I spend a lot of time with my friends as well. Some of my friends and I kind of have like a little book club. I do a lot of reading, so sometimes we'll choose a book and just read a book and kind of come together and kind of discuss it. Big into films as well, so again, similar thing with films. We go to cinema a lot, watch a few shows, watch a few films, and kind of discuss it. We kind of do similar things in terms of like eating out and kind of going to like different adventure type things. So for example, we'll do like escape rooms, or we'll go to mini golf, for example, which is another fun one that we like to do as well. So a few different things too.
I've done that mini golf in town, and it is really fun. Hang, coming to Leicester, have you found any good food spots, any good places in the city to explore?
Yeah, obviously there are a lot of places, like a nice coffee shop in the city center, even a lot of kind of foods in the city center that we can try, from Western food to Asian foods, even the milk tea shop. Yes, they have everything there, and they have, and also in the city center they have a big shopping mall that we can go there to find any clothes or that we can need over there.
It's so handy having the High Cross shopping centre there. It's got John Lewis, Apple Shop, Zara, basically everything in there. Abby, have you got a favourite? You've chosen to stay in Leicester. Have you got any favourite places in the city centre?
Definitely. For more like breakfasty vibes, Kai in St Martin's Square, really nice. And then for more dinner stuff, keep going back to the restaurant Vino, which is also near St Martin's Square, which always like favourite go-to spots. But there are so many, like Hang said, there's so many restaurants to choose from, because you've got such a great variety in the city.
I think, round by the lanes in St Martin's Square, that those pancakes from Kai are phenomenal. I can agree with that. Olivia, do you have any favourite spots around the city?
My favourite spot is actually on London Road.
Okay.
It's called The Barn. They have fantastic food there.
I've not been there.
It's so good. They have like burgers and chips, but it's the type of thing that you'd be paying a lot more for in London. So it's really good.
That is a really good point about that kind of cost of living side. I suppose moving from London, Abby, you've come from Surrey. Do you find Leicester a more of an affordable city to live in? Do you find?
Definitely. It's definitely a lot more affordable, especially if in terms of things like even just Ubers, down to Ubers, to food, to even somewhat clothing, if you want to go to that extent as well. Kind of the events that you want to do. A lot of the things that the university does are free. But even in terms of if you wanted to go out and do events, compared to London, there's no comparison.
Yeah. I think there's also like a lot of student events, like most like bars on a Wednesday with part of the societies going out on Wednesday nights. They'll offer student discount, so that also adds to helping with like prices a lot, because it adds a discount for students wanting to go out with their friends.
And Hang, how have you found coming to Leicester? Is it an affordable place for you as an international student as well?
Yes, it's quite affordable price as I have researched, and the rental fee, even the living fee here, and moreover, the location of Leicester is really convenient to help me explore another city. It's only take 1 hour to London or only 40-50 minutes to Birmingham. Yeah, and I think because it's located in the Midlands, so can easily commute to any place in the UK. And I think a lot of students as me come from far away, so the UK is really close to Europe, right? So easy to travel.
Yes. I think, yeah, if you're coming from a more global home, coming from further away, being right in the centre of the UK is a really useful thing for you if you are exploring. And as I studied abroad myself, and actually doing that exploring was a really key part of my year abroad as well. And I suppose even Olivia and Abby, travelling to Leicester from your home, quite easy to get to as well. Olivia, is it easy for you? Your commute?
It is quite easy, honestly. I'm so into the routine now. It's like second nature. Like you said, it's just over an hour on the train. Yep. If you're like me, you like to sleep on the coach as well. It's like a 2.5, maybe 3 hour journey on the coach. But if you're like me, you can get some work done. If not, you can have a little nap. You can do. It's kind of like you get used to the journey, and it doesn't become like overbearing or too long. You kind of just get used to it.
Yeah, that kind of train from St Pancras is so regular, and it doesn't take long at all. And Abby, do you get the train up as well, or do you drive up?
No, I'm quite fortunate that my car is in Leicester with me, so do drive home occasionally. Mainly when we've got like reading week and like Christmas holidays and stuff like that. The M25 is always a nightmare, but once you get through that, it's a really easy journey, and I know it now, so it don't need a sat nav or anything. You just get used to it, and it's nice to be able to go home when you want. So
you know the route now. Going back to the financial side of things and the kind of the cost of living when it comes to studying your postgraduate, your masters. So for the students from the UK, so Olivia and Abby, you both have the master's loan from the government to fund your studies. How was the process in applying for those? Abby, I'll come to you first of all. How did you find applying for that?
It was really easy. It was just like doing it for undergrad, but it was a lot quicker because it's gone off of what you've asked for and not household income. So I think I heard back within a week saying, yeah, you've got it. The one thing you've got to consider though is that because you're getting everything, you've got to keep on top of paying your tuition fees and managing your that loan coming in more, because it's not divided in between tuition fee and then your personal maintenance loan. It's all together and you've got to deal with it, but it's really easy. And yeah, the application, just fill out a couple of forms and it's all done.
That's a really good point, that the difference between your undergraduate English student loan and your postgraduate one, that it's not paid directly to the university, it goes straight into your bank account, and then you deem what you spend that money on, either your tuition fees or indeed your maintenance costs. Olivia, do you find when you've taken out the loan, does it cover everything you need?
Thankfully, with the 20% alumni discount that I received, in terms of the student fees, in terms of studying, it does cover that, which I'm very grateful for. But in terms of like the maintenance and kind of just maintaining the fact that I'm commuting and like where I stay when I stay in Leicester, it supports, but it doesn't necessarily cover everything. So I do work part-time as well and kind of get involved in different opportunities that I can, where I can make money where I can, to kind of support with that. So like you were saying, Abby, the process is very easy, and I'm very grateful for the finances and how it supports, but definitely you have to top it up sometimes as well.
Olivia made a really great point there about the alumni discount. So if you are a current undergraduate at the University of Leicester, you do get that 20% alumni discount on your fees. So there are exclusions which do apply, but do have a look onto the individual courses. Additionally, if you are a De Montfort University student and you are thinking about coming to the university, due to our university partnership, we have a long-standing relationship with De Montfort University. There are some courses where you are eligible for the 20% alumni discount as well, so do have a look into those as well. Now, there are lots of other scholarships and bursaries and grants available. And now, am I right in saying that you received a scholarship as part of your offer when choosing to come to the University of Leicester?
Well, when I applied to the University of Leicester, so I received an offer with a scholarship around £3,000 to my tuition fee, and moreover the application team also offer me like different methods for me to pay my tuition, maybe pay one time or two times. It's up to my decision, and I think it's quite helpful for me like to prepare for the finance to study in the UK.
So hopefully that £3,000 was a big help for you, and actually for dependent on where you're from in the world, do have a look into eligibility, because there could be some scholarships available just for you, so do have a look into that. Now, aside from the scholarships available from the university, there are pots of money around everywhere that you can apply for. A really useful website that I always signpost people to is the scholarship.hub.org.uk. There's also some really great resources on the Student Room, Save the Student, Black Bullion. Martin Lewis, the money saving expert, has some really great advice as well. But there are additional pots of money available from charities, local governments. There are lots of different pots of money available. Now, Abby, you've mentioned that you are applying for some additional money just to prove that, that it's not all just from the university. Can you talk us through a bit about what you're thinking about applying for?
So it's run through my faculty, so the business faculty, called the Women in Business Scholarship Fund thing, and they're just, what it says in the title, helping women who are studying in business with just some finances across university to make it a little bit easier and to encourage more people to follow those lines of studying.
I would definitely recommend that all of you do some research into what scholarships are available, because as Abby said, you don't know what is available. It might be some random pots of money. I remember there was some postcode that where I'm from could have got some grants when I was a student, and unfortunately I missed the boat. So do have a look to see if there's anything that your local government, local councils, charities are offering as well. So in terms a bit about careers support at the university, we all know that many of you will be choosing to do your postgrad for different reasons. Could you talk through some of the support? I'll come to you first of all, about some of the support that you've used from the Careers and Employability Service in helping you go into your next steps.
Well, in the University of Leicester, there are a lot of free workshops for students to join in, like CV check, or how to fix your CV, how to do your best in your interview. And I have joined some kind of the workshops, and in there I have a lot of activities like how to interact with the employers in the real interview day, and they give me a lot of advice like how to fix my CV with the correct skills that you should write in the CV to appropriate with the career environment in the UK. Yeah, and I think it's really helpful for students like me.
Great. And Olivia, studying as an undergrad level, have you used the Careers and Employability team throughout your time as a student as well?
I definitely have. I've definitely gone to those CV checks, needed them a few times, as well as I've gone to kind of just speak to different people. They have different people from different kind of jobs that come in, and they kind of give you show you the opportunities that you could go into, which I think is something that's really good. I think sometimes when you're studying what you're studying, obviously you study what you study because you're interested in it, but you also don't necessarily realise how many other things and how transferable your degree actually can be. So kind of going to speak to different people from different careers and kind of showing you different opportunities that you can get involved with after studying has been really, really helpful for me to kind of widen up the options that I have and kind of know what options I have properly. So yeah, it's been really helpful.
And a really great thing as well is you'll be able to get that career support even after you graduate. You get that for your lifetime as well. So no matter what you go into, that support is available from the university. Thinking around the support at the university, I know that there are lots of different levels of support to support all levels, from financial support to welfare, well-being support, accessibility support. Olivia, you've used the accessibility team before. Can you, if you're happy to, are you happy to talk through a bit of how you've used the accessibility team?
Accessibility has really been really helpful for me, even from first year up until now. Even before I came to the university, even before I set foot in Leicester, they called me. I was like, hello. And they kind of basically explained to me that my school kind of passed on some information to say that I had extra time in my exams and during my A-levels, and basically said to me that they wanted to make sure that I was well supported before I even came to the university, before I even came to Leicester, so that I was kind of starting from the same footing as everyone else. And I think that inclusivity and that accessibility and that them showing that kind of support to me from before I even came was really kind of an eye-opener into the type of university that University of Leicester is. And that support that I've been given, that support that I've been given has been consistent throughout every single year of my degree, straight up until postgrad. In terms of like study skills advisors, and they kind of help me in terms of like planning my assignments, planning and scheduling kind of my life. And it's been, the support that I've received has been truly astronomical. It's really been great.
That's really nice to hear, and actually you made a really good point that it is available to postgrad students, and actually the earlier people are telling us things, and it means that you will get a phone call before you even come to university.
Precisely. They even helped me apply for disabled students allowance as well from the government, which was something that I didn't even know I was able to kind of have prior to them supporting me with that. So it's been really great.
Well, that's really great, and it is a bit of a thing to say. Do use the services available. Now, every student at the university gets a personal tutor. Abby, have you got any stories of working with your personal tutor, or indeed the tutors and academics within your school?
Yeah, definitely. I've had lots of meetings with personal tutor. Most of them have been like everyone who's is with him as a personal tutor. We all like sit in a lecture hall, and just he'll say, here's this email if you need help. You've got like these upcoming deadlines, and just helpful information. But like he's always available for emailing if you need any help or advice with assignments. Even if it's just I've got a lot on and just need to offload to someone, talk things off and get it off my chest and whatever. You know, they're there to listen to you. And we've even done this with like some of our lecturers who aren't our personal tutors. They're always happy to listen to me and my course friends just rant about the little annoying things that you just need to talk about with someone, and they can always offer help. So if you ever are like struggling with course load or anything, it is really good to talk to someone about it, because they do want to help and they will help you out.
We really don't want to leave anyone behind at the university, so it's really great to hear that you've used the various support services available. Going back to the assignment point that you made, we know that every course at every university is different, and everyone is assessed in different ways. Can you talk us through how do you have to do a dissertation? Or how's your assessment? What does yours look like? Hang, do you have to do a dissertation as part of your course?
Yes, I'm on the progress of finishing my dissertation, and before I made a decision to study master degree, I have a lot of nervous, like, how can I finish this? Because it's master degree, obviously different with undergrad, and obviously like I finished my undergrad in my country, so I think like the UK education will be different. Yes, a lot of scare. So, but here I receive a lot of support from the supervisor. Like he's always give me a lot of feedback and follow me step by step, so I don't feel like I do it alone or I will do it wrong in the wrong way, because I always have to follow up of my supervisor. So yeah.
That's great to hear that you do have some really great support for your supervisor as well. And Olivia, do you have a dissertation that you need to complete as well?
I do have a dissertation to complete. I've kind of just submitted my ethics. I've got that all approved now, so I can actually start doing the research. In terms of the actual, mine is due in September, so I've got a little while away to do it. But I've got some draft chapters due in June. But I do also have other assignments to do before then, so it's a kind of a matter of like balancing it and kind of getting that support from your supervisor, like you were saying, and kind of managing just the dissertation, but also in regards to like my other assignments that I have to do as well. So it's all right so far.
So far. Good luck. And Abby, do you have to do a dissertation as well?
So don't have to. We, as part of my course, we have the option to do either a dissertation or a project, which counts as the same amount of credits. But just slightly less words and just more hands-on. So we do currently have the choice, but I do think I will do the dissertation, as although it will be difficult to write a few more words, I think it's just more tailored to what I want to look at, and the topics that I want to research is suited for a dissertation rather than a project.
But really nice to have the choice, right?
Yes.
That you can kind of choose based on how you like to be assessed, which would suit me certainly as well. In terms of applying to the university, so we all know that when you apply to a postgraduate level, you have to do a personal statement, but unlike with the UCAS, where you have to do one for five different options, you do your personal statement for one course that you apply for. Is there any advice that you would give, any top tips on what you would use, what you would recommend people to do in writing their personal statement? Olivia, I'll come to you first of all.
I would say I always think about reflection, and I think reflectivity is a really key thing to kind of consider before writing a personal statement. It's kind of just figuring out, sometimes just sitting with yourself and figuring out what exactly you want to do a master's for, what you want to learn, what you want to kind of advance or expand on. And I think that's kind of like a really important point that I would kind of suggest as a tip, maybe, to kind of just sit with yourself and figure out exactly what you want to study and why. And I think whilst that is the entire purpose of the personal statement, I think sometimes it can be very easily overlooked to figure out that passion that you have for studying, and kind of just showcasing that. I think once you're honest about that, I think that kind of demonstrates in your personal statement. So
great. And Hang, do you have any tips from you writing your personal statement?
Well, because I think it's different with the undergraduate, because when you choose to study postgraduate, you know exactly what you want to study. So I think just say honestly why you choose that course and what will that course help you after you finish it. Yeah, I think that's the most important thing, that you show your passion about that study. Yeah.
Absolutely, and that is really what we want to get across, is your passion, your enthusiasm, your excitement for continuing to study that course for 1 or 2 years maybe, without using the word passion though. We see the word passion a lot. So if you can show what's inspired you, or somebody inspired you, I think that's some really great advice. And Abby as well, have you got any tips for writing personal statements from your perspective?
Not only what Olivia and Han said about why you want to do it, but I also think mentioning what do you do outside of your course, whether it's any sports or anything, it's basically adding what else can you give and add to the university community. Just show what else you do in life, and it sets you out from anyone else, and it makes them think, oh, I remember that application, that was the person who did whatever it was. Just something different.
I think that's absolutely brilliant advice, because actually showing how you stand out from the crowd by showing how you are an effective student, juggling your time, doing extracurricular activities, doing part-time work outside of your studies, is what's going to be a really great kind of indication to the academics that you're going to be a good student to study the postgraduate courses. So we have had a question that's come in that says, what does a typical day look like as a postgraduate master student? Now, I know that some days might be differently, and it'll be different for all of you. But Hang, do you have a particular kind of typical day in the life for you?
Well, I think my day in Leicester is really study and life really balanced. In University of Leicester campus, they have a gym, so I normally start my day in a gym first, and then directly go to my classroom. Yes, and then after that I will have a break time, have a lunch in Postgraduate, where is a lot of food halls there. I can take chips or pizza pasta, and then continue with another class. And after all, back home and cooking. Yes, that's how
I think that early morning gym session, then I'll go get those loaded fries from the Astra van in the Percy G building. Abby, do you have a typical day in the life as well?
So typically we're in each week 2 full days a week, so it's getting to uni at 9 and not normally leaving until 6. We do have like breaks in the middle, not quite long enough to go home, so me and my course friends will just sit around in one of the cafes, whether it's at the Brookfield Hub or in the SU building, just playing some card games, chatting about all weird and wonderful stuff, and just spending a bit of relaxing time together before we then go back to lectures. In the evenings typically have a lot of training sessions with my society, and just socialising lots with course friends, home friends, friends I've met at uni and stuff, and just making the most of the time I have away from home, away from the family before you'll leave for like reading weeks and Easter and stuff.
Brilliant, thank you. And Olivia, I suppose if you're commuting from London, I suppose you might have a slightly different day.
Yeah, sometimes I have some early starts. Sometimes getting up a little bit early in the morning, then getting on a train to get onto a coach maybe, or getting a train to get to another train. Getting to lecture is pretty straight when I come into Leicester. Get a cab from wherever into my lectures, sit for the lectures. Then usually after the lectures, I kind of spend some time with my friends. We usually go to study spaces within our school building, and kind of spend time there, kind of just talking, catching up. Then after that, I usually have another lecture, go to those, enjoy those, I guess, and then come from those and kind of do some studying at home. But spend some time calling my family as well, back in London, just checking in, making sure everyone's okay, and then kind of just trying to focus and study and get as much work as I can done before the holidays. So
Brilliant. We've had another question in. We talked a little briefly earlier on about part-time jobs and getting some work to supplement your funds whilst you're at university. Now, I know all of you are doing part-time work, but do any of you do a placement year? Have you done a placement year? No. But I suppose, Olivia, are you able to talk a bit about what part-time work that you do to help pay for your studies and your time in Leicester?
Well, I work part-time in a shoe shop, which is quite cool. I usually work at home. Sometimes I work in Leicester as well. It can be very transferable, but I usually work at home, and that kind of supports just in terms of my studies, in terms of the commuting, in terms of the travelling as well. So try and limit my hours, because obviously you want to balance it with your social life, but you also want to balance it with your studies, because at the end of the day that is definitely a priority for me. But it's kind of finding something that works around your already existing timetable, and that doesn't burn you out as well. So it definitely can be difficult to find a balance, but I'm very grateful that I have a job that kind of allows me to have that balance.
I think finding that balance is really key, isn't it? Because you want to obviously be successful on your programme and the course that you're studying, but also if you do need to supplement your income, it's an important thing as well.
Definitely.
So, and Hang, do you have you come from you've come from abroad, but then you've come to the UK.
Mm-hmm.
Have you managed to get some part-time work as well?
Well, as a media student, I also have an opportunities to work for the university, like a part-time job here, and my role is as a content creator, take a video about the university life, about student life, and I edit it, as it's also my skill. It's really related to my course, so I think it's not only give me the income, but also give me the experience to work in the UK environment.
That's something you'll be able to put on your CV and talk about in interviews and everything. So that sounds great. And Abby, do you have a part-time role as well?
Before Christmas, yes, I did. But then they didn't need my role anymore, so stopped working after that. But yeah, I went through my university then with uni temps, but Leicester has that as well. They offered a 6-week internship over the summer, so I did that, and then they liked what I was doing, so they kept me on for a bit longer. And the careers hub here, sending emails, you can either choose for daily or weekly, and they can email you with opportunities like roles like this, with helping people, and just some part-time work. That it's really helpful to get those emails and just see the opportunities that you can have if you can't find a permanent part-time job that you want.
Brilliant, thank you. We've also had some other questions. Someone said, I'm very interested in Leicester but still undecided. What is your advice based on your experience? Should I go for it? Hang, I'll come to you first of all. Should this person that's on the fence, should they go for it in coming to the University of Leicester?
Well, I think like the decision to study in University of Leicester is really, really helpful for me and for my life. Like it's really a base for me to experience with the UK. And after 1 year study here, I really want to continue to live in the UK to explore more. And I really love Leicester. And also, like international student will have an opportunity to apply graduate visa after finish your study to find a job here. And after receiving the support from University of Leicester team, I think that I will continue to apply that. Because I not only love Leicester, but I love the UK.
Great. And Abby, do you have any experience for any advice for someone that might be on the fence?
Definitely, I think go for it. This is my 4th year in Leicester and I want to stay. It just depends on getting a job after uni. But I think it's definitely been a growing experience for me because you can have these expectations of what uni is going to be like, but until you're actually there, you never know fully what it's going to be like. But it really has been a good opportunity for me. I think wherever you go to uni, take any opportunity you can, join societies, meet new people, because the more people you meet in your first couple of weeks of being at uni, the more options you have, and then you can then choose a smaller friendship group from that if you would like. But just getting out and socialising is definitely a big key. And with Leicester being, it's quite small cities, but there's still a lot in Leicester that you can do. And Birmingham, Nottingham, London's not too far away. That it's an hour train to each place. That it's very central to everything else, like in the country. That I just love it for that reason.
Same. And Olivia, do you have any advice for someone that might be on the fence?
I would say just go for it. Honestly, I think whilst applying to Leicester, for example, was my only kind of option that I chose. I was very kind of set on it when I did apply. I think naturally you can be very like, do I want to do postgrad study, especially coming from undergrad, and I was kind of encouraged. It was just like, go for it, and I did, and I think it's one of the best decisions I've ever made. I think obviously I've done my undergrad here and I'm very grateful for that experience, but I think also doing a postgrad, the whole experience, the last 4 years that I've been in Leicester, I think it's definitely changed the trajectory of my life for the better, and I'm very grateful to have been here. So my advice would be to go for it, and I think it's one of those places that the community, the experience that you get, the opportunities that you're given, the opportunities that I've been given, they're kind of like endless. I've met so many different people. I've kind of learnt new things about myself as well, and I think that's not something that every city can help you do, let alone every university. And I think Leicester kind of has all of the right ingredients to kind of give you that experience. So I definitely would recommend. So.
Great, some decisive advice from the team there. We've had a specific question just for you. Someone says, I'm worried about missing home as an international student. How do you manage this as an international student?
Well, I think that kind of feeling you obviously have to experience when you just arrived to the UK. But I think it's not a big deal anymore when you have a friend and the environment here. The staff here always ready to support you, like 24/7. And they have a lot of events for you to join in, and you have a lot of chance to meet up with new friends here. And even in the university accommodation, they have a lot of special events and service. If you feel like, really miss your home, it's really supportive you, and you will never feel that you are alone in a new country anymore.
Well, I'm glad you're managing that well, that side of things. So hopefully, whoever's watching, hopefully you can feel reassured that it's totally normal, it's totally natural. As I did my study abroad, and I missed home as well. But actually, when I think about the opportunities that I got, it really does it's worth it. So we're kind of obviously studying postgraduate. You're thinking as part of your next career steps. I know you might not necessarily know exactly what you want to be doing right now, but ultimately studying postgraduate is going to open so many more doors for you. Olivia, do you know what you want to be doing once you finish your masters?
I'm kind of open, kind of very open to kind of exploring different opportunities and options that are kind of given to me. But like you said, having the postgrad kind of under my belt will definitely kind of widen the field for me. At the moment, I'm kind of looking into like detective fields related to criminology, but I'm also really looking to travel as well and kind of get out into the rest of the world and kind of experience different cultures and environments. So yeah, I'm kind of keeping it open at the moment, but I'm looking in detective routes. I'm also looking to travel, so that's kind of what I'm thinking my next steps will be.
Great. And Hang, have you got any ideas what you do when you finish your degree?
Well, at the beginning when I start my master degree, I think like with that I can like it's really helpful for my career ladder in my country. However, when I come here, I see like, oh, it's a new, it's also have opportunities for me here, and I can learn more from a different culture. So actually I changed my direction after I came here. Like I think I will try to find a job in the UK first to gain the experience, and after that I will back to my country and continue with my career there.
Great. And Abby, do you know what you want to be doing when you finish your masters?
At the moment, it's very job dependent. Hopefully get a job in the Midlands and stay in Leicester, but if not, move home. And the plan at the moment is get a grad job for 2 years-ish, and then but the reason I picked the international business course is because I do want to travel and work abroad. So currently the plan is in 2 years move to Australia for a bit, work out there, and then come back and after a couple of years start thinking about settling down, having future and stuff. But currently nothing's set in stone, but just there are lots of opportunities. It's just about applying for the right ones at the moment.
Great, very global aspirations from the team, which is great to hear. I suppose from my perspective, when it comes to choosing your masters, it is a big commitment, isn't it? It's a financial commitment. It's also a time commitment, and also that extra year of studying. How have you found that transition from studying at undergraduate to postgraduate? Has it changed? Is it more difficult? Is it harder? Are you more independent? I don't know. Abby, I'll come to you first of all. How have you found that change?
I think a lot of my modules this year are very similar to what I did in third year, so the change in content isn't that big. I think it's more the independent study. The best way to describe it, I think, is the step up from year 13 to first year. It's a similar sort of like leap forward in your education from undergrad to postgrad. It's a lot more independent study, which is why you'll typically have more free time and less like face-to-face lecture time, because you're then expected to go home and do it yourself. I think I worked up a lot to be more than I thought it was going to be. That once I actually started the course and started studying, I thought, this actually isn't too bad. Why did I make it such a big deal? It is a step up, but it's not a crazy amount, and it is definitely doable.
Have you found the same thing, Hang, coming from studying undergraduate to postgraduate? How's it been for your kind of transition?
Well, in my experience, I have the experience to study undergrad in my country, and it's totally different with the UK master degree. The time of the lesson is quite short, and then I just need to focus it in the short time. So I think it's really helpful for me to understand the lesson clearly, not put a lot of long time and not effective. And I think it's really, the timetable here is really helpful for me to study. Moreover, I have more time to study by myself, and whenever I need, I can send an email to the teacher and ask for that. I think for the postgraduate, I obviously study by myself more than the undergrad time. I know specific what I want, and I can deeply research about it. Yeah, that's a difference.
Great. And have you found a similar thing, Olivia, in your transition from undergrad to postgrad?
Transitioning has been really smooth for me. I did my undergrad obviously here, And I think one of the things that kind of was said to me was that the transition, especially being a student already, was very, very smooth. And sometimes, you know, you hear things, you think, okay, we'll see. It was really, really smooth. It felt really, really natural. It wasn't, like Abby was saying, anything crazy. I would maybe even argue that the jump from undergrad to postgrad, I would argue maybe it's a little bit more smooth for me anyway than from year 13 to first year. In terms of content, similar thing to what Abby was saying, it's not necessarily anything overwhelming. I think you kind of expand a little bit more on things that you already know. Of course, you learn new things as well, obviously, but it's very natural, it's very smooth. We do have more independent study as well. But again, it feels natural for what you're learning, the content that you're learning, kind of the experience that they kind of set up for you, that it feels right that you have more time to do more independent study based on kind of what you're learning, how you're learning. So. Yeah.
And presumably you've got some really great facilities as part of your courses as well, and you get to use the library. You have your own areas of. Abby, you talked about the Brookfield campus for business subjects. Can you talk through some of the facilities that you all use? Olivia, I'll come to you first of all. In your course, are there any kind of unique facilities, I suppose, that you get to use?
In the criminology, sociology, and social policy building school, really, the building's called Astley Clark, and we have a social space in there. It's a designated social space for criminology and sociology students, which is really, really helpful because obviously you're already in a community at Leicester, but then you obviously have your little niche communities effectively with people that kind of study similar things to you. And how they've kind of set it up is you have like a social space, which is a little bit more, you can like talk and socialise with your friends in there, but you also have like a more study space, which has like computer rooms and stuff like that in there. Where you can do a little bit more focused studying, which is really, really helpful because it kind of, if you don't want to go to the library, for example, it's a smaller space with students that are already kind of studying similar things to you. So I think that's one of my favourite things, pretty beneficial to have in the school.
Great. And Hang, do you have any facilities that you use that are unique to your course?
Well, actually, in my accommodation, the room is really nice for me to study, and they also have the study room for the student to study in the accommodation too. But I still prefer to go to the library because there's a postgraduate room only for postgraduate PhD student to study there with the warm lighting, and internet is so smooth for me to do my assignment
Comfy
there.
seats, right? Isn't it?
Yes, and I can take a drink or just small snack and do my dissertation over there. It's really nice.
Great. And Abby, you talk us through. You mentioned Brookfield. There's it's really nice up there. We've got the allotment there. There's some really nice trees and the squirrels running around. Is there anything that you use in particular?
Typically, we use like the cafe area a lot, just killing time between our lectures. But they've got like study pods, so like just a table and 7 or 8 chairs around the table, so you can do more quiet study, like group study there. They've also got little like booths that you can just either sit and chat in, or you can do studies in. And because it's mainly the business courses that study there for third year and masters, it's quite quiet most of the time. The only downer is that it does shut, I think, past 6. So then at that point, after lectures are finished, we all go to the library and just do late night study sessions in there with assignments, like deadlines coming up and stuff. But yeah, it's really nice to have sort of like a designated space that, because it's away from main campus, not everyone wants to go there. So we know we'll always get a table to do some studying when we're on Brookfield.
That's really helpful, and also great to know that you can still come into the library that's open when it's open 24 hours and still use that and do your long all-nighter sesh doing your assignments as well. I'm going to start wrapping things up. I hope you agree this has been a really great peek behind the curtain into the lives of 3 amazing students, and I really am grateful for how honest and open you've been about your time at Leicester. If you are still thinking about applying to the University of Leicester, we do have one more session which will come directly after this one about studying a postgraduate research level. So if you are considering going to do a PhD, maybe the 3 of these might join that session after. You should have received a link if you did join that. If you are considering applying to postgraduate study at the University of Leicester, our full course list is available on our website. A reminder for if you are applying as a home student, you have the deadline of the 4th of October, and if you are an international student, your deadline is the 24th of July. So the 4th of September if you're a home student, and the 24th of July if you are an international student. Hopefully you found this useful. There's been loads of information. Remember, as a postgraduate student at the University of Leicester, you are guaranteed accommodation at the University of Leicester if you choose to apply by the 1st of September. I strongly urge you to look into finances, scholarships, bursaries, the cost of the postgraduate masters, but also the student loan if you are an England-based student as well. But thank you all for joining us. I just want to finish with a final tip from each of our wonderful panel. If you've got one tip for a student thinking about studying postgraduate, what would it be? Olivia, I'll come to you first of all.
My one tip would probably just go for it. Just take everything with a kind of an open mind. Naturally, obviously, you're going to be graduating with a higher level of qualification, higher level qualification, so that's a benefit in itself, but it's also an experience. It's an opportunity to kind of learn more about yourself, and learn more about the city, learn more about your friends and people around you and the support systems that are available to you. So I would say go for it and just kind of be open to everything. So yeah.
Great. And Hang, one final tip from you?
Is experience as much as you can, because postgraduate time is really short and it will go through so fast, and you will need to experience everything. After all, you will regret it. Try your best.
Great advice. And finally, Abby, what's your advice?
Definitely make time for relaxing or some downtime, whether it's playing sports or meeting out with your friends or whatever it is that you want to do. If you're studying all the time, you'll get stressed, and then you'll look back in a couple of years' time and go, what did I do at my master's? I just studied. Make those memories, have time to relax, and you'll really make the most of the time that you spend in Leicester.
Brilliant. Thank you all. So once again, thank you for joining us. A massive thank you to our 3 wonderful students. We hope you have found it useful today. A big thank you to all of the team behind the scenes that have made this session possible. We're really grateful that you could all join us today. If you do have any further questions, if we haven't been able to answer any of your questions today, please do get in touch with us at study@le.ac.uk. You can also chat with the student on our website as well. So best of luck. I wish you the very best, and hopefully we look forward to welcoming you to the University of Leicester very, very soon. I've been Dan, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you very much. Take care and goodbye.